Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. I'm here with Ann Parnes. She is a matchmaker and dating coach out in New Orleans. Thank you for joining me again.
Thanks, Julia. Always fun to be here.
So today we're talking about, we have a couple topics. One is deal breakers, lists, musts, and another thing is tall men. It's all going to be together. So what the biggest thing I get is obviously when people sign up, they have to fill out a big form. And we all do this for a reason. We want to know as much about you as possible, what you're looking for, what you want, what you don't want. But at the end of the day, we kind of want you to throw away your list. I mean, I know it sounds bad, but I have connected and matched more people that were something they weren't looking for than I have when you come to me and you tell me exactly, here's 10 things that my partner needs to have. That never really works out because you're closing your mind and you're closing your circle and you're closing your life to potential amazing people. So I always say, throw away your list. Obviously, if you want someone who's in great shape, who works out every other day, I'm not going to bring you someone who's overweight, who never works out. So those are, obviously important things, someone healthy. So again, the list, the must, it's a huge thing for me. I'm sure same with you, right? When people come to you, what do you tell them when they have a list of, a whole page of things that your partner has to have and they can't live without this and they can't live without that? What do you tell them? Because I tell my people, no, it's not going to happen. You have to be realistic. And obviously, certain things are a must, but how do you deal with someone who has a huge list?
So we go through that list, and like you, I try to set realistic expectations, and that's fine. If I'm not going to, if a woman tells me that she cannot date a man that's shorter than her, and that she has gone out with several guys that were shorter and just couldn't do it, I'm not going to waste her time. I'm not going to waste the guy's time. I'm not going to waste my own time. So,
Right.
the things that are really, really deal breakers, I will absolutely honor. But like you said, you're cutting yourself off from so many amazing people just by thinking that you need certain things. So I like to go through it and really figure out, what a true deal breaker is. And I think a lot of that is values based too. I mean, those things I feel like are a much bigger deal than if you tell me you need a woman who has blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm quite certain I could find you one with green eyes who you might, have that chemistry with. And I'm quite certain I can find you a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman who you wouldn't last 6 months with. So I'm much more concerned with the values. So I definitely believe in chemistry, and everybody, if they have an absolute no, then we'll honor it. But like you, I do tell them to open their minds up to go beyond their inclination to say, I need this, and really think about what you need and why. The why is so important, because sometimes when you get to the why, then they realize the what might not be as solid as it first seems, and it might be completely different.
I like that. I always ask why as well. Even after a date, people always have to call us after feedback, give us feedback after the date. And I don't just leave it at that. Well, he was great, but I don't want to see him again. Okay, let's talk about it. Why? What did he do? What did he not do? Because the why is huge. Like you said, it's very important. It's very important to know why you're not willing to give this person another chance. And when people are on the fence, I always tell them, give it another chance. Because listen, I've been married for almost 20 years or 19. I don't know. I keep it.
Close enough.
Every year.
It's a long time. Yeah.
When you've been together so long, my husband always says, it hasn't been 20 years yet. I'm like, oh, okay, 19. But, I was the same way. I wasn't sure what I thought after the first date, and we had a horrible first date because he was super nervous. But even from my own experience, I ended up going out again, and first dates are very nerve-wracking. And first dates are you're not sure, unless it was amazing, perfect, and it took you on a jet to Paris, it's an interview. It's like an interview for a job, which is very hard to do. You're trying to impress each other, and sometimes we say the wrong things. This is why it's better for people to use a matchmaker, because we tell them there's certain things to stay away from. There's certain things not to talk about. Obviously politics, sex, your exes. That's a huge one. Do not sit there. You know, I've had many clients, which I'm sure you've heard it all too, that sit there and they compare and they talk about their ex. Oh, I can't stand my ex. She did this and she did that. And that's a huge turn off.
Absolutely.
For both people. So, yeah, and it was interesting what you brought up, the height thing, which brings me to my next big thing. This is such a pet peeve of mine. You know, the shortest women will ask for the tallest men. Why?
Right.
You're barely 5'1", and you have to have someone who's at least 5'10" or taller. I mean, how big are your heels? What are you wearing, stripper heels?
Right.
You know, what's the reasoning for that? So, you know, I think people really overlook wonderful men because they may not be a certain height. I mean, obviously, I understand if you're 5'10" and you feel uncomfortable dating someone who is shorter than you, especially if you like wearing heels. I understand it, but I get it. But at the same time, he could be a wonderful person and a wonderful human being, and you're going to overlook him just because he's, you know, an inch shorter than you or the same height. Right? So what do you tell your clients, especially women, who refuse to date someone their own height or not too tall or maybe a little bit shorter than them?
So it really depends. I mean, if they just kind of come up with that and that's what they think they need, and have had no experience, but everyone else they've been attracted to has been tall, and so they just kind of assume that they don't want to date anybody their height or shorter,
right.
You know, then and if I had someone who I thought would be a really nice match for them in every other, you know, way that they were looking for, I would encourage them to take that leap and just, you know, just give it a try and see what they think. Obviously, what's the worst that can happen? They go out and have a nice time with somebody and make a connection, have a good night. There's no pressure going in, right? If it is somebody who has told me that they have tried on several occasions and there's just something, it's like they don't know whether it's something in the back of their mind, psychological, or that they just feel, you know, they don't feel feminine if a man is smaller than them, and they just can't, you know, that affects so many things in the relationship. Well, that's different. At that point, I'm not going to push. I will, you know, tell them who I have and give them the kind of, you know, the override on that one.
Right. That's good. And that kind of brings me to, you know, the fact that I've known some of the manliest men I've known are not always the biggest. And I understand that women do want that manly, macho, tall man. You want to feel like a little flower, delicate flower with this big guy. But it's all about the confidence. You know, some of the shorter men have the biggest confidence, and they're gentlemen and they're sweet guys, and they walk in the room and their height disappears. You know, people know they walk in the room. Their confidence shines through. So I always tell people kind of, this is part of the reason why I didn't show pictures for a very long time. And I don't know how you feel about that, but unless people are bringing me professional Photoshop, beautiful lighting pictures, most pictures people send me are not good. So I'm not going to share those. And for another reason as well, people can be very shallow, especially out here in Southern California where I am. So for a very long time, for many, many years, I never shared pictures, and people just had to trust me. But lately I do, only if they have good pictures. So do you feel the same way, that it's better not to share pictures sometimes?
I go back and forth also because, you know, you can take a look at a picture and really not capture the person. And so to make a decision based on one snapshot just seems so, you know, limiting for yourself. So I am playing around with that right now. I think that women are more likely to go blind. I think that I've had more men who think that they need, you know, a particular type, who really are pushing to get the picture. So I am playing around with that right now, and I will let you know.
Yeah, I agree. It's very tough sometimes. There's some people, I've had clients that come to me and say, look, you're the professional. I hired you for a reason. You're going to be my eyes. So I don't need to see their pictures. And then there's other people that are very insistent on seeing a picture. And I just want people to know that just because you're seeing their picture, you're not seeing their best self. And it could be a Photoshop picture. It could be from 5 years ago. It could be from 10 years ago. And this is the reason why, you and I both, along with other traditional matchmakers, we meet in person. We kind of touched on that before, where there's nothing like sitting across from each other.
Right.
And I find that people look better in person than in their pictures. So a lot of times, you know, I really hate sharing pictures unless I have different angles, and I almost wish I could send them a video, you know, just like their daily life walking around.
You capture so much more of the you know, the expressions and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's why, for anyone listening, I would really love them to be more open-minded and forget their lists like we talk about. Obviously, there's certain things that are a must, and you know, you want to have kids, and you know, you don't want to date someone who had a vasectomy or who went to those extreme measures to make sure he never has kids. Then obviously we're not going to match you. But other things like height and appearance, and you know, I've had women tell me they won't go out with a man who doesn't have a college education, which is absolutely the worst thing you can do. There's some amazing people who are blue collar workers who work their way up, and they're, you know, CEOs of a company, and they don't have a degree. But I think you're limiting yourself, right? It's just like what we talked about. You're constantly limiting yourself by putting all these musts and all these lists and all these non-negotiables, where there's wonderful people out there that don't have all the things, but you know what? They're wonderful human beings, right?
That's right. I don't think there's any, you know, perfect. Just like if you're shopping for a house, you may have this huge list, but I think people, you really have to figure out what's most important, and convey that to your matchmaker so that we can look for that and sort of, you know, at least give it a chance, because you can find chemistry with someone who might not be your exact type. You know, if you've got a lot of other things in common and, you know, everything else is there, the chemistry may come, and I don't think you'll know that by looking at a picture. So I completely agree with you.
Right. And again, that brings us to another topic of chemistry, which doesn't happen overnight. Do you agree that for the most part, there's no fireworks on the first date for most people? Sometimes when you're younger, but when you're over a certain age, chemistry has to grow on you, and it's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens on the first or second date. Sometimes you have to go into it knowing that it takes time, right? And you can't rush into it and think, oh, first date, there was no chemistry, there was no fireworks, I didn't feel gaga over someone, and then you don't want to give that person another chance, right?
Yes, I think sometimes it's there. You know, you never know. Sometimes it's just there right from the outset. You hear those stories from your client. But other times, like you said, I hear, no, I'm just not sure. I mean, I had a nice time, but I didn't feel like that sexual impulse. And I always say, you know, wait and see how the kiss goes. I mean, that's a big one, you know.
That's huge. Oh.
Right? That can change it. You know a lot more after that first kiss.
Right. Oh, I tell people the same thing. I always tell the men, don't wait till the fourth date to kiss her.
Right.
Because for us, for women, it is about the kiss, and that tells us a lot of things if there's chemistry, physical chemistry. So, you know, obviously, don't go right if it doesn't feel right on the first date. Don't go for it.
Gotta listen.
If it feels right, why not?
Why not?
Right? And then you'll know, and you feel it. So those are all very interesting things, very important things. So I just want to tell people to keep being open-minded. I love when clients come to me and they're open-minded and they say, listen, I'm open to all ethnicities, I'm open to all cultures, I'm open to all women or men, and that makes our job easier, right?
Right. It opens the pool up, and then we can really figure out, you know, the important stuff, right? The things that make them compatible for the long term.
Right, exactly.
Chemistry sometimes passes over the years. I'm not saying it has with us, but you've got to be left with a lot more than just, you know, thinking that your partner's attractive, because that's not going to be enough.
Right, and with the years, as you get older, all of that goes anyway. So at the end of the day, you want to be left with a good person, good, kind heart. And you want to be with a good person. So, so that's you know, those are all good things for people to remember when they come to us. And again, if you want more information, you can contact me at matchbyjulia.com. I will have Anne's information on my website. Follow us on social media. And we'll continue this conversation. We'll have a lot more topics coming up. So come back and check us out. And thank you, Anne, for joining me again today.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.